watching Moan podcast, the show where we take a theme and turn it into an idea. I'm Luke. Joining me this week is Aidan.
Hello.
No Helen this week, but I think she's back next week. Not too sure about that. So today's episode we're going to be doing Spider-Man films, something that both me and you are fairly into, so
Yeah.
we should be able to get a good shot of this one. But before we get into that, what have you been up to this week, Adam?
I went to watch the Logan film this week.
Oh yeah, what do you think of it?
On the contrary, it's pretty good. It is a good film.
Yeah.
I wasn't disappointed with it.
No, I completely agree. I watched it as well.
Yeah. There was obviously parts where I was a bit meh.
Yeah.
But as a whole, as a film, it was very enjoyable.
Yeah, I completely agree there. I had a shitty time at the start of the cinema, though. I'll tell you that. I'm going to go on a mini rant here, but one thing that really pisses me off with the cinema, aside from how ridiculously expensive it's gotten over the past, 5 years or something.
Yeah. I remember when you could go to the cinema with a $5.
Exactly, I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
We used to be able to go for a $5, and then even then that was sort of it was pricey for what it were, because you're only going to watch a film for about 2 hours and you're paying £5 for it. But it's more than doubled pretty much now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you went, when we went on a 2-for-1 thing, so it only cost us, it was about £12 or something like that for two of us. But you went on a proper day. How much did it come to for you?
For 2 tickets, it cost just over £17.
See, it's fucking ridiculous. And it's not even it's because it's a chain cinema. When you go to these independent ones, we went to one down by the beach sort of thing, me and Nicole,
Right.
last year or something. And we went to it because we went to watch the Avengers, which we'd already seen, obviously, in the proper cinema, but we saw this one and we thought we'll give it a do, because it was only £2 a ticket or something like that.
Yeah.
So when prices are like that, I'd go to the cinema every week or something, maybe twice a week.
Exactly.
You'd go and see the films that you think, oh, that looks good, but I'm not going to pay to see that.
No. It's just, especially with the films that are coming out these days, I wouldn't pay much to go see them. I'd only probably, if the people at the cinema was to say, right, how much would you want to pay to see this film?
Yeah.
Chances are it would be no more than £3-4.
Yeah, I completely agree. Because even then you got sweets and popcorn and stuff like that. In fairness, I think it's fair play to them to have those at sort of expensive prices, because they're not there to sell food, they're there to sell films.
Exactly.
But the films themselves should be cheap enough for anyone to pretty much go in and see.
They should be, because it's up to the stage now where there's a few films I won't mind seeing at the cinemas, but because it's so expensive, I've prioritised which ones I will see and which ones I'll wait for.
Yeah. It's like with any Marvel and DC sort of films, they've pretty much got my money, because that's what I'm into. No matter what it is, I'll definitely see that, even if it's a shit one. There was a lot of shit ones last year, like Suicide Squad, that I didn't really want to see, but I had to because it's a DC one.
Yeah.
But then there was a lot of good films out that I probably should have watched, but I didn't get around to, just because I didn't want to pay that much for it.
Yeah. In the past, I can't think of any examples, but there's been films that have come out, and I've watched them on DVD or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I've thought to myself, I wish I watched that in the cinema now.
Yeah.
And the reason why I didn't watch it was because it was too expensive.
Or watching or watching a film multiple times or something like that. Back when The Dark Knight came out, I was only in high school, so it was £5 a week sort of spending money for me. So me and my mate went to watch The Dark Knight, and it was a fucking amazing film. It cost us £5 to get in for it, but then because it was so expensive, never watched it again. But I would have loved to have watched that a second time at cinema.
Yeah. I never watched that one at cinemas. There has been films what I've loved to watch a second time, but I've just not wanted to pay so much to watch it again.
Yeah.
So it's a scandal, really.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's just the chain cinemas. It's not like before anyone starts saying, oh well, if people didn't pirate films so much, then these cinemas would be cheaper. That's not the case, because like I said, we went to one where it was £2-3 a ticket.
Yeah.
So you're paying for the brand to stay alive.
Exactly, yeah. They're only paying so much because they can.
Yeah.
People pay to go to view cinemas.
Yeah. Stupid.
Yeah, it is. Bullshit.
But that wasn't my main complaint. My main complaint is with these chain cinemas that most of the local ones have. Most of the local ones don't have. Is whenever you go to your cinema, you buy your ticket, and when we go, they'll typically ask us, won't they? Whereabouts do you want to sit?
Exactly, yeah.
You say front, middle, or back, or whatever. And whenever we decide to go, we're fairly specific about which seats we want. So we'll always typically say we want the middle towards the back, behind the VIP area. Because they're not going to say, oh no, we can't do that. They'll just get you as close to that seat as possible.
Yeah.
In fact, if you know what seat numbers you want, or if you book online, you can pick which exact seats. So, me and my partners probably had the same cinema seats, like, every time we go, so long as no one else actually has that seat already. So you're given your allocated seats. The most annoying thing that you probably get at the cinema is people go in and they sit wherever they want. Now,
yes,
there's a line where it's acceptable to me to do that. If the film's like starting in maybe 2 minutes, not the adverts, nothing like that, just the film itself, you've gone through all the adverts, the trailers, and it's doing its little sound test thing. If the cinema's then empty, go sit wherever you want, because worst case scenario, someone's going to come in just as the film starts and want to sit where you're sitting, to which you just move along one. So that's no problem whatsoever. But if you do that, as soon as you get in, or way before the film starts, even if it's an empty cinema or if it's a full cinema, whatever, you're most likely going to fuck it up for someone. And this is what happened when I went to the cinema. Right. So, we're sat behind the VIP area, like we usually do, and it's like an extra, maybe £3 or something like that for VIP. It's not really worth it because the seats aren't even comfy.
No, they're just leather. That's it. It's no difference.
They're leather, and you maybe get a bit more foot room, but personally, I don't like it. We choose to sit behind VIP because the seats are slightly lower, so we can see over people's heads easier.
Yeah.
So, the film starts in about maybe 10 minutes or something. We've still got trailers. We've just got into the trailers. And there's a group of about 6 people or something up in the top upper corner. And they think, well, there's no one sat in VIP, so we'll all go sit there. So they sit sort of not in front of us, but sort of front to the side. So they're not in our way. But I turn to Nicole and I say, shit's going to sort of happen here because they're in the wrong seats. And she sort of like ignores me sort of on the thing. But I'm like, no, listen, there's going to be problems here. I can tell you now. So then the next group of people come in, maybe about a couple minutes later, and they say, oh, you're in my seats. To group 1. We'll call them group 1 and group 2. Group 2 comes in and says to group 1, you're in our seats. But then they say, oh, don't worry about it, we'll sit along here. So then I look at Nicole and went, that's 2 problems now. That's caused more of a fuck up, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I'm watching these 2 groups sitting next to each other, and I'm waiting for something to happen. I'm sort of hoping someone comes in and gives them some shit. So then, maybe about... Oh, it was halfway into some trailers. It was halfway between the Power Rangers trailer and the King Kong trailer. There's a big fat guy sort of comes in, and he's waiting on 2 of his mates, but I class that as group 3. So the fat guy comes up, he walks past group 1, goes to group 2 and says, you're in my seats. Group 2 responds with, well, someone's in our seats. Who gives a fuck if someone's in your seats? You're in the wrong seats. You're now the asshole. The group 1's passed the arsehole status to group 2, so now group 2 are the arseholes because group 1 wouldn't fuck things up in the first place. So this fat guy sort of stands his ground. He's like, no, we booked these seats, we want these seats. So eventually his 2 mates sort of come in, but the fat guy stood there sort of right in front of us 2, whilst group 2's moving their shit along because group 1 sat back up in their allocated seats.
Right.
And then they spend the entire length of whatever a trailer is, like 5 minutes or something, organising who's sitting where, and moving the drinks along and shit like that. And I sort of looked in the clock, and I was like, this would happen. Why did they fucking move? If the film was ready to start, sit where you want, because then it's less likely you're gonna have a fuck up like this. No one's gonna turn up to a film, bang on starting time. They come early.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It just pissed me off.
Yeah.
I mean,
stuff like that pisses me off as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the trailers obviously before. I would have liked to watch them again, but it's just the fact that just sit in your fucking seats. It's not hard. You're given a number and a letter. Sit there.
Or it's worse when people come into the cinemas. You're sat in the right seat, but they think you're sat in their seat.
Yeah.
And then you've got to complain to them and persistently tell them that they're wrong for at least 15 minutes through all the ads.
Yeah.
And which happened to me. And the only reason they listened to me was because I literally got up, demonstrated on the seats, like, this is seat 1, this is seat 2, blah blah blah, all the way over to seat, I think I was on 12.
Yeah.
And then a couple behind me told the two people who thought that I was in the wrong seat that they was in the wrong. And say, no, me, this gentleman's in the right seat, you need to go move, which they did.
Yeah.
Just cinema people.
It doesn't help with that situation as well, because when you're looking at what the seats are, at our cinema at least, it just says the numbers on each seat.
Yeah.
Or it says the numbers on the foots or whatever. I can't remember whereabouts it is, but it's there. And the letters are all the way at the end. They should have the letter and the number attached to each bit.
Yeah, I agree. I know what you mean.
So then you're sat on your seat, and if you're sat on whatever, like J12 or something, and someone says, you're in our seat, you say, no, and you just point to the letter and number. It's there. It's on the seat.
Yeah. I think also, because what some knobhead thought would be funny was a couple of years back when I went to the cinemas, they had coloured in the seat numbers on one row, so nobody knew what seats it was.
Yeah.
And I think they should be on the actual, because at our cinema it's on the armrest, isn't it? The seat number.
Yeah, but I always find it confusing as well, because you don't know whether it's on the left side or the right side.
Yeah, you don't know whether to look at the left-hand seat or the right-hand seat unless it's like the very end chair.
Yeah.
But I think they should be on the actual seat, like on the headrest or something like that, or on, where your
or
ass
on the
sits,
floor,
or
right in front of where your feet are.
Yeah, somewhere to stop the confusion, so that stupid idiots don't come in when you're trying to watch some trailer.
Yeah.
And tell you're in the wrong seat when you're actually in the right one.
Yeah, because I've done that before, where I've sat in a seat and it's been like a packed cinema sort of thing, so I think I'm in the right one, but they say, oh no, this is 12, 13's that one next to it, or something like that. But that's not a difficult problem to fix. You just move along one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, they should make that more clear.
Yeah.
It's like I love the cinema, but with so many problems. I think cost is more than anything, because whenever we go to the cinema, when was the last time you saw a cinema screening just full or packed?
I think it was a good couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Been a while, definitely been a long time.
Other than for like marathons and shit like that, I don't think I've seen one since I can remember. It's always in our cinema. There's always about maybe 15 to 20 people in whenever we go.
I think the last time I saw a full cinema was when I went to see The Conjuring, the first one at the cinemas.
Yeah.
But that was a nighttime one. I think it was like 9, 10 o'clock at night when I went, and it was packed.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. We don't really go to any peak times or anything like that. It's because there's always kids there. It really gripes me. Kids are another thing I hate with the cinema.
Yeah.
Because the last one we went to watch where there was kids there, it was we watched Star Wars: The Phantom Menace in 3D, and it's not a good film, but it's anyway.
Yeah.
So we were watching it there, and there was about maybe 3 kids or something. One screaming, one running up and down the aisles, and one playing with a fucking lightsaber. It's like it's a cinema. Just don't bring them if they're going to be like this.
No.
So from that point on, I've always managed to go not at peak times, either during school hours or go late at night or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I never go on Saturdays or anything like that anymore.
Oh no, I'd never go on a Saturday, or if if a film comes out during, say, the 6-week holidays when all brats are off school,
Yeah.
and I won't watch it. I'd rather not watch it because I'm not paying, close to £9 to watch a film
Yeah.
and have it ruined by kids running around, kicking the back of your chairs, people sitting in your seats, whatever.
Yeah, I agree. We usually, because I like to watch them sort of as soon as they come out, if it's something that I'm actually interested in, we'll either go to a night screening or, yeah, like I said, we'll go during the day when they're at school.
Yeah.
Fucking cinemas. So that's my little rant over. I assume you didn't have any problems when you went to the cinema then. Were you alright for it?
Oh yeah, when I went to see Logan there was no problems at all, luckily.
Yeah. Is it busy at all there?
What? No, I think other than me and my brother, I think there was maybe 3 other couples.
Yeah.
So it was literally about 8 to 6 people, including me and my brother in there. So it wasn't packed at all.
Fair enough. You went during the day as well, though, didn't you?
Yeah.
I think it helps with the rating as well.
Yeah.
If it would have been a 12, it would have been more kids in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. So before we get into the pictures again, I've got some Spider-Man related stuff, talking points. I don't know what you call them. So we can work our way through them. So Spider-Man's known for having one of the best sort of rogues galleries, aside from like Batman or something in comic books. What villains are your favourite?
My Spidey villains.
Yeah.
Probably the symbiotes.
Yeah.
I like Carnage and Venom.
They're
probably my favourites.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm the same. Carnage. I don't know what it is. Carnage more than Venom, but I weren't introduced to Carnage until maybe I was about 12 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it was Venom for a long time for me.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, I prefer, I don't know, I prefer the look of Venom, but I prefer Carnage.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's weird, it's hard to explain, like, Carnage is sort of, because he's like a murderer, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what I like with Carnage, because Venom's sort of like Spider-Man's toughest foe, in that he's like Peter Parker's bully, and then he's got the superpower sort of thing. But then Carnage ups it up a notch, where you've got the dangerous sort of symbiote mixed with the mental serial killer of Cletus Cassidy.
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah.
I don't know. I know that Venom doesn't. He doesn't signal off Spider-Man's spider senses, does it? Does Carnage? Do you know?
I don't know. I know Venom definitely doesn't.
Yeah, Venom does, but I don't know about Carnage.
See, I can't remember. I'd assume that he doesn't. That he doesn't set it off, but I can vaguely remember cases where he does. I think it might be one that just they change whenever it suits the writers.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because the thing with why Venom sort of avoids it as well is because the Venom suit was originally on Spider-Man, he learns all his weaknesses and stuff like that, and so he counters them. That's why Venom tends to web, whereas Carnage has more like symbiote shit always coming out like axes and
tendrils and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe he doesn't.
I don't know. I'd like to think that he doesn't.
Yeah.
Only because I don't want him to be too much like Venom. Like I don't want it to just be Venom, just with a different host. Yeah, I just want it to be like sort of his own character and his own villain with his own set of like unique powers. Like obviously, like you said, he can like craft his hands into like axes and shit.
Yeah.
Which like Venom doesn't do.
Sometimes Venom turns invisible as well. I don't know what that's about, because it's like I remember back in the Spider-Man PS1 game, it was he'd literally just turn invisible. But then I've seen other cases where he's like a chameleon or something, and it just blends into his surroundings.
Yeah, I've seen the chameleon one where he can blend in.
Yeah.
But I think I do remember that game. You know, is that the one where he set like some sort of gas around the city and you couldn't swing?
And when you fought Venom, he turned into like this weird sort of it went all transparent for a bit, and you could see like all the wire framing that they built around the character, and then he disappeared completely, and you just hear his voice.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
That was a good game.
It was fucking well good. I was playing it the other day.
I hated the Stan Lee commentary though. That pissed me off.
Yeah, I didn't mind it at the time, but then when I started playing it again, it's like when you're playing the first level, it's the one bit that you can't skip through. You can't, if you press start, it pauses it, and if you press anything else, it just doesn't do anything.
No.
So even if you die in that first sort of like tutorial level, because you don't know that you're not meant to fall in the stupid yellow gas,
Yeah.
you've got to listen to Stan Lee say this like little 5-minute monologue every time.
Fucking Stanley.
And he has about 3 different monologues through the game as well, aside from whenever you go looking at the characters and he tells you about every character.
Oh, no. I remember the Human Torch one.
Yeah.
That was annoying.
So like a Johnny Storm, the Human Torch.
That's the one.
Member
That's
of the
it.
Fantastic Four.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, I was playing that on the second one. Did you ever play Enter Electro, the second PS1 game?
No, I never played that one, no.
It's not... The gameplay is better, but the story and stuff's a bit shitter, because the first one you've got... Who have you got? Venom, Doc Ock, Carnage... Scorpion, yeah. Rhino, Mysterio...
Mysterio, yeah, that's right.
I think that might be it.
Yeah.
And then you've got that
so.
the monster rock thing at the end, which is fucking terrifying. Did you ever play that level?
Yeah, I never completed it though.
No, it's well hard.
It is.
I hate chase games like that, like just when something's coming after you, you've got to run away from it.
Yeah, one of these days I am going to have to complete that game. I've not completed it, and it was like my favourite game as a child.
Yeah.
But it was just too difficult.
I just used to put the cheats and then do it level by level.
I never had the cheats.
Oh, there's loads of them. You get you can get all the different like costumes and stuff, like Scarlet Spider and Amazing Bagman and shit like that.
Fair enough.
But no, with the second game, your only villains are Electro's the main villain. You fight Shocker, Hammerhead, the Lizard, and I think that might be it. You fight this guy you fight like Hyper Electro at the end, where it's like it's Electro, but he's just like got these glowing shit going on with him.
Yeah.
So the villains aren't as good, but the gameplay's better.
Yeah.
You get like an electric weapon and shit.
That sounds cool. I didn't actually know there was a second one until you just said no.
Yeah, it sort of came out at the same time as the X-Men game that we played with Professor X. Right.
Oh, that was
Here's
one of
something.
the best things.
Here's something from Logan. At the beginning, when Wolverine goes and visits Professor X in his bunker thing.
Yeah.
When he's rolling around on his chair, at any point did you remember the game?
Yeah, I did. Because he's got a whole blanket as well, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. I looked in the corner. He's gonna flip his chair at some point.
Just flip his wheels to make his leg kick.
Did you see Did you see the thing I sent you where it was showing all the superpowers you can use on that game, and his last one is he spins his chair into like a tornado, starts flying, and then smashes into him.
Oh, we need to go on that game, but not to fight each other. Just to like test out all of his abilities and stuff.
Yeah.
See if we can do them. That'd be pretty funny.
Because there's one of them, I don't know if we managed to do it, where he starts like hitting you with all these telepathic power sort of things, and whilst you're writhing around on the floor, he sort of like skirts around you and watches.
It's funny, the one where he tries to mind control the opposite person to hit themselves.
Yeah.
And then if they break out of it, they'll just sort of uppercut him. and he just falls backwards on his chair. Oh, it's brilliant.
Excellent. Any other Spider-Man villains you like? To say he's got one of the best rogues gallery, he's got a lot of shit villains.
He's got a lot of them are shit.
Like, I like Scorpion. Scorpion's pretty good.
Yeah, Scorpion's in my pitch. That's what I've pitched.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I was thinking of using Scorpion because he's got a really good sort of story. But
yeah.
when we get to my pitch, I've chosen some of the shittest characters.
He has got some shit ones.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a shit one.
You can use my ones if you want. Craven and Chameleon.
Craven and Chameleon, yeah.
They're shit.
Yeah.
But they're my villains for the film when it comes to it.
I think Sandman's pretty crap.
I don't mind Sandman. Go on.
because like in the Sam Raimi film, the third one, there's that part where symbiote Spidey and Sandman are fighting in the subway.
Yeah.
And he gets all wet and turns to mud basically. And I thought, well, that's just an easy way to kill him. You just drown him. He just turns to mud.
Yeah.
And that's him gone. So I thought that was a pretty shit weakness.
He's only got the two weaknesses, but they did them both in the film as well. That's one of the only things I think I like about Spider-Man 3, the fact that they did the water weakness on him, and then they did the fire one, so they turned into mud and they turned into glass.
Yeah. I think the Raimi Spidey 3 would have been so much better if they would have just kept it with Sandman. I think he's a big enough villain to be a solo villain. I don't think he needed help from like Venom or anything.
Or introduce a shitter character.
Yeah.
Like the Shocker or something like that.
Yeah, like they've done in the new one, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the Vulture's quite a shit character anyway, isn't he?
Yeah, he is pretty shit. The thing with the Vulture though is he's like, as a character he's pretty shit, but he's always one of those ones who's like a main villain.
Yeah.
So he's just shit from being a shit character. Like Shocker's one where he's just like a hired thug sort of thing. You know, you could stick him in any film and it just serve the same purpose. He's never a main villain kind of bad guy.
Yeah, I think Shocker in the new Spider-Man film in Homecoming, I think Shocker will be sort of like the Captain America Civil War crossbones. I think.
Yeah.
He'll just be in it and then be gone as quickly as he can, really.
Yeah. See, that's what I've always wanted for a Spider-Man film, because he's got a lot of villains, but he's got a lot of shit ones that you can just throw in and get rid of them.
Yeah.
Like, there was a pitch for Spider-Man 4 when Sam Raimi was supposed to be doing it, where he had it sort of started off where he brings in Mysterio into the police, and he's sort of like a goofy kind of villain, and he pushes him over, his fishbowl thing comes off his head, it's like Bruce Campbell underneath. So that's sort of like a link between all three of the films, because Bruce Campbell's got the cameo in all three of them as ring announcer, the usher guy in the second one, and then the waiter in the third one. So it was meant to be like he was supposed to be Mysterio all along or something like that.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
But obviously it never came to pass, but that's what they should always do for a Spider-Man film, just chuck in a shit one.
Yeah, it's like what you said. I think the best thing that they could ever do for Spider-Man is to make a TV series out of it.
Yeah.
Like they have done for Daredevil and for Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and Iron Fist. I think a Spider-Man would have been a lot better.
Yeah, because, I mean, you've got shows like The Flash and stuff like that, and they've taken a character who's still in the films, but they're doing, they've got all the villains going on there. They've got a fucking shark. They've got King Shark, who's just a guy who's a giant shark who wears pants, and that's one of his villains. And they've managed to do that on TV. So why can't they do Spider-Man?
Exactly. Even if they include Spider-Man in like maybe the Avengers films.
Yeah.
But his primary thing isn't films. He has his own TV show, and then he features in other heroes' films whenever he's needed. Because
with the animated series, that works really well, because Spider-Man to me has always been sort of like more like a soap opera where Spider-Man shows up occasionally. So you've got him where he's dealing with always his friends, so he's got like Flash Thompson and Harry Osborn and all that, and him socialising with them. You've got him going out with different girls. You've got the Felicia Harden, Mary Jane, Gwen Stacy, all those.
Yeah.
And then everything else that happens with Spider-Man is sort of like a background plot.
Exactly. Because the thing I like about Spider-Man as well is Spider-Man's got villains, but Peter Parker also has villains. Like, he's got Jonah Jameson who hates him, and then he's got Flash Thompson who's his bully, and then there's other people who like don't like him.
Yeah. It works better as a TV show.
Yeah, definitely. I think it would work so much better as a TV show.
I mean, obviously they're not gonna do that, I don't think, because it makes money from the films, but like I said, if they can do it with the Flash, you can do it with Spider-Man, and I'd rather watch the Spider-Man TV show than the Flash one.
Oh yeah, I'm not into the Flash.
I like the Flash, but the show's sort of corny, and his villains aren't as good as Spider-Man's. He's got maybe like 3 good villains. But when you watch the Flash, it's like either every season or every episode, his villain's always speed-based. So you've always just got some variation on the Flash, and it's a bit shit.
Yeah, it just looks all the same.
Yeah.
Have they put Gorilla Grodd in it yet?
Gorilla Grodd, yeah, he was in season 1, and I think he's just come back It might have been in season. No, yeah, it was in season 1.
Oh, was it?
And he came back for the new one, but I've not caught up with this season yet. But
Oh,
he actually
fair
looks
enough.
pretty good.
Does it?
Yeah, to say that it's like TV CGI, it looks pretty decent.
Fair enough.
If anything, the Flash looks worse because they always use the same sort of like running effects.
I think I watched the first ever episode of it, The Flash, and then that was that. I think that was enough to be like, nah, it's not for me.
It's not bad. It's just it's really cheesy, and it always sort of follows the same structure. I've gone off all those shows like Arrow and The Flash because with The Flash, its plot it's really sort of simplistic. Like it follows it beat for beat every episode, where Barry Allen comes up against a new villain, and he always loses at first, and there's always a reason for him losing, and it's usually either he's not fast enough, or he doesn't feel himself, or he's too cocky and he needs to whatever sort of find himself, and then he'll always beat the villain by the end. But it's always, Barry, you've got to run faster to beat this enemy. It's like, but I can't run faster. It's like, you can. He's like, oh yeah, and then he does it. It's
bullshit.
yeah, it is. It's bullshit. It's just dragged out. It's him always forgetting his fucking powers.
Yeah.
I mean, half of season 1's them just shouting to him over this like comm system, just run, Barry, run. Like Forrest Gump.
My mom said I could be anything I want to be.
Johnny.
Anywhere I was going, I was running.
My name is Barry Allen. I'm the fastest man alive.
Oh shit.
Imagine if Forrest Gump was the Flash, like instead he's got the costume on and he goes to help someone like in a burning building, and they're like, "Oh my God, Flash, you've got to save our kids." It's like, "Oh hello, have you seen my shoes?" They look at him like, "What do you mean?" And he's just grinning at them. Would you like a chocolate?
Oh fuck.
Flash Gump.
Flash Gump. That is fucking good, is that?
That'll be my pitch for for next week.
Should do. Flash Gump.
Yeah, I can't think of any other Spider-Man villains. Obviously, like Scorpion's a good one. Hobgoblin's pretty good. Which do you prefer, Hobgoblin or Green Goblin?
I prefer Green Goblin.
I prefer Hobgoblin.
I prefer Green Goblin, but what I was going to ask you is which variation of Green Goblin, because there's one where Osborn actually turns into that big Green Goblin, isn't there?
Yeah,
or there's the one
the
with the
Ultimate
mask.
Spider-Man.
Which one do you prefer?
Normal version.
Yeah.
He looks like
definitely.
the Hulk in the other one. I don't buy into it.
He does. It used to confuse me as a kid.
Yeah. Because you always used to be able to buy, like, in supermarkets, they had, like, Spider-Man cakes and shit like that. And it'd be like Spider-Man fighting the Ultimate version of the Green Goblin. And I'd look at it like, who the fuck's this guy?
I
thought it was the Hulk.
Abomination. I thought it was like Abomination, so I was like...
Yeah.
But that's like Hulk's villain, it's not Spidey's villain.
I had a colouring book years ago where it was like a lot of these characters, and they'd used that version of Green Goblin in it, but they called him like fucking Ultimo or Destructo or something in it. So it didn't obviously help me figure out who we were.
Yeah, no, that sounds really shit.
Yeah.
I used to have loads of Spidey colouring books when I was a kid.
Did you ever notice they always had the same pictures in them though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they'd recycle drawings, so like obviously someone's drawn them or whatever.
Yeah.
They'd recycle drawings but put them in like a different scene.
Yeah.
That's what I'd noticed.
Because I think I've still got a good couple lying around. I use them for like flattening paper and shit. But when you ever look through them, it's like this. I had like a Spider-Man colouring book and like a Marvel one. And when you look in the Marvel one, it had all of the same Spider-Man drawings plus Marvel characters.
I'm. You're lucky. I wish I threw all mine out years ago. Like, 'cause I used to collect Spidey comics as well. Do you know the Spider-Man comics?
Yeah, I remember you saying I've still got all mine.
Yeah, I used to got them all. I had absolutely loads of them, but I threw them all out. I think just before I started high school.
Yeah.
But I really wish I kept them all. I threw everything out.
Do you remember what got you into Spider-Man or? No.
I think I do. I think I remember going on holiday to Pontins one year when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And they, like, do you know, like the night entertainment type thing?
Yeah.
They did a Spider-Man play, like people dressed up as Spider-Man and the Green Goblin or whatever. And I thought it was really good, and I was like, hey, this is pretty good. So I think that's what started it off for me. And,
Yeah.
And then I don't know, I think art as well, because obviously me and you, we're artists and we draw.
Yeah.
I think drawing was a big part because I really enjoyed drawing Spider-Man and all of the villains and stuff like that. So I think that got me even more into Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like to help me collect the comics, so then I could like use the pictures for references and stuff.
Yeah, I remember the first time I learned to draw the webbing on Spider-Man, because for years I just drew it like a grid, and then when you when you look at how simple it is to draw the web, and you're like, oh shit, it's like this instead. You think, oh fucking hell, I've got it now, I'm a master.
Yeah, I used to do it like a net.
Yeah.
Just gridlocked, that's squares, squares everywhere.
Yeah, it's like I start with like the circle bit for the nose, then work outwards now on it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I do it.
Yeah. That was weird that you said you got it from Pontins, because I think I got into Spider-Man properly from going Pontins as well, but mine was different. With me, it was we went to one of these Pontins places. I can't remember which one it were. And on the way, because it was quite a bit of a journey, we called into like W.H. Smith or whatever, and we got one of those Spider-Man magazines.
Alright.
I don't know if that was when I first got into it. That's mainly first when I got into comics. I think I'd already watched the cartoon and played the game and shit like that, but I picked up this Spider-Man comic, and that's sort of where it got off for me. It's like the cover for it was really cool. It was it was Spider-Man sort of on a web on like a yellow background, and then all around him was like the heads of his villains. So you had like Scorpion, Doc Ock.
I think I've seen that. Yeah.
Doctor Doom was there for some reason, and Bullseye. And then the comic I remember as well. It was I think the Kingpin had made a load of like robots or something like that of Spider-Man's villains, and he ended up fighting like all of them through the comics. So like Venom and Carnage, Green Goblin and Hobgoblin, and
that sounds cool.
It was pretty good, like an introduction for me, because I got like into every villain then at that point.
Yeah, that sounds good. One thing I've been struggling pretty much my entire life is, would you class Kingpin as a Spidey villain or a Daredevil villain?
The thing is, I'd class him as a Spider-Man villain, but I'd only give it to Daredevil because he doesn't have many significant villains.
Yeah.
Like Bullseye's definitely a Daredevil villain.
Yeah, Bullseye is, yeah.
You've got characters like Mr. Fear and the Hand and shit like that who are probably, I'd still say Daredevil.
Yeah.
But Kingpin's always mainly been Spider-Man for me, and just Daredevil borrows him off him.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean that's how it were in the comics. It was Spider-Man fought the Kingpin for years, and then I think when Frank Miller took over the Daredevil comics, it was like, we need a good villain, and because obviously he's good at doing like crime stories and shit like that, they borrowed the Kingpin and then made him into like this sort of fierce mob boss rather than like this goofy fat guy.
Yeah, in the fucking white suit and purple pants.
Yeah, with his cane that always looks far too small for him.
Like if you just leant on it, it would just snap like a toothpick.
Yeah. Do you remember Go on.
They made a reference to that in the Daredevil. Did you catch on it?
Which the white suit
TV series, yeah. He said
he's on about that Arabian prince or something like that, isn't he?
Yeah, who came in wearing a white suit and he looked like an idiot.
Yeah.
I was like, hey.
I kind of want to see him wear the white suit, but he'll look really stupid because his skin's sort of too pale for it.
He is. He's like a little albino, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's really white.
Did you like the Kingpin in the Daredevil film?
I didn't mind that he was black. If that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He seemed. I prefer the Daredevil, the Kingpin in the TV
Daredevil.
series Daredevil than I do in the film Daredevil.
Yeah. See, I like the one in the film, but. And yeah, it doesn't matter that he's black. I think it sort of worked in his favour. He had that really sort of like deep voice, which works better than the Daredevil one, I think. But to me, he weren't fat. I mean,
no, he was too big, weren't he? He was more big than he was fat.
Yeah, I watched loads of on my copy of Daredevil, because I had it on video. When the film finished, there was like a commentary thing or whatever on after the film, and he's
Yeah.
talking about it, saying he put on like a shit ton of weight, but you can't tell in the film. I mean, he's sort of
No.
podgy outwards, but he's not wide, which I
Yeah,
think
well-
he should be.
Well, he died now, hasn't he? But I mean,
Yeah, Michael Clark
when-
Duncan.
yeah, in his other films, he's always been a freaking huge guy.
Yeah,
Like when you think of him, you just think, oh yeah, that really big black guy.
yeah,
Like yeah, that's the one.
yeah. Big black
So,
guy.
he-
Which one? Michael Clark Duncan. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, you can't say you can't really tell that he had to put on weight. To be
No.
fair, he just looks exactly the same.
No, he did a good job in a mediocre film. I mean, I like Daredevil, but it's not great, especially not now after everything else that's come out.
Yeah, no, it's not. Just his fucking leather suit.
Yeah,
Just leather.
yeah, it's a bit. No, it's not good.
No.
Right, so we'll talk about these Spider-Man films now.
Yeah, okay.
There's 5, 6 or so, whatever of them.
Right.
So I thought what we'd do is
Are you including the one that's coming out this year as well?
um,
Homecoming.
no, because we've not seen that, and I'd maybe not class Civil War either, because that's just like it's a Captain America film that features Spider-Man.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
I was watching that again the other day. I don't know what it is. I'm not a fan of Civil War.
No, I watched it at cinemas. I watched the. I did the Captain America marathon.
Yeah, I
so
remember
did
you
the
saying.
Captain America 1, Winter Soldier, and Civil War. And I enjoyed it at the time just because of the hype. And I was like, yes, I've been waiting for almost 4 hours to watch this.
Yeah,
But when I watched it again, because I think I went to a second time at the cinemas to watch it,
yeah,
it just didn't seem as great as I remembered.
Yeah.
I came out thinking, why did I find it so great?
to me,
So that's-
I think it's the ending. The middle section, the fight with on the airport, is really good. Like that's one of the
Yeah.
best fights in the Marvel films, I think.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that part, yeah.
But then it gets to the end where it's Baron Zemo's a bit of a shit villain for what they did
Yeah,
with
he
him.
is.
And then just watching Iron Man, Bucky and Cap fight, it's not as interesting as the middle section, I don't think.
No. Because he just sort of tells them all, I was behind it, I blew up the... whatever it was he blew up.
Yeah.
And then he just sort of sealed himself behind a door and then everyone just sort of fought each other and you just got away.
Yeah. I think it would have been more interesting if the plot twist was better. Like, they sort of set it up like Bucky's the one who killed Tony Stark's parents, but
Yeah.
they give it away like in the first 5 minutes. I think if you
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
anything about the Marvel films, that's fair enough. But there's about 3 films. It's in not Civil War, in Winter Soldier, and every other film where they say Tony Stark's parents died in a car crash. And
Yeah.
you can sort of deduce it from that. You know Hydra's
Yeah.
killed his parents, there's a car crash, and you know Winter Soldier's killing someone who works for Hydra. So there's no
Exactly.
plot twist there.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
It's not a brilliant film.
It's not a bad film, it's really dull for me. I just don't think it works.
I don't know what it is. I think they just tried to focus it too much. I think they tried to shove it in your face too much. Like this film's about the Avengers breaking up.
Yeah.
This is about Captain America and Iron Man falling out. So they tried to make it too obvious that they're falling out. It's like, well, yeah, we know they're falling out. So let's have a bit of a better storyline going on as well as that.
Yeah. And plus, Tony
we don't
Stark's
really
the
get
worst Avenger going. So
He
why
is.
is he the one who's like, we need to be put in check? Like, no, they don't fucking need to be put in check. Captain America's done nothing wrong,
No, none of them really have done anything wrong.
other than Iron Man.
Other than Iron Man, yeah.
Because he built Ultron and he's always smashing shit up.
Yeah.
Probably something else, but I can't think. And then you've also got General Ross, who's the one who's like, these Sokovia Accords, they need to put you in check. But he's the one who made Abomination, and him made Abomination and Hulk fight in fucking Harlem, smashing that to shit.
Yeah. So none of them are. Well, minus the obvious ones. Like Cap's not done it wrong.
Yeah.
Um.
Scarlet Witch
Scarlet
didn't mean
Witch.
to blow that.
Yeah,
thing up.
that was accidental. I think she did it with good intentions.
Yeah.
But yeah, none of them have done anything wrong, minus the ones you said.
So no. What do you think of Spider-Man in Civil War then, Tom Holland?
I like Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I've got no worries about him. I think he looks like a Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And I think his suit's alright. I like that they're going back to like the original Spidey look.
Yeah.
And
then even more so with Homecoming, isn't it? With, like you said, with the web pits.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of them. I don't know if they work. Obviously, we'll have to see.
I think they
I
will.
don't want them to be gliding around fucking New York with web pits.
I think they will, but just for the one film, because obviously he's fighting the Vulture, so he needs some kind of flying advantage. But I don't want to see that in every film. I don't want to see the web pits or some fancy gadget in every film that helps him fight the bad guy.
No. I do want to see the Iron Spider.
Yeah.
Suit though. I really do want to see that one.
I don't like the Iron Spider suit.
I want to see it, but without the tentacles and without the invisibility and all that sort of crap.
Yeah.
I just want to see just the red and gold suit. I think that would be pretty smart.
Yeah. It's like the thing with Spider-Man, what I'm worried about with Homecoming is they've got the web pits. I'm hoping that they're not going to go like an action figure route with it and be like, this is gliding Spider-Man. And then the next film they're going to go like, this is strong punch Spider-Man. Volcano action Spider-Man.
Deep sea diving
Spider-Man. Spider-Man. They're always bringing out the same fucking figures of those things, but always slightly different. But you always get like a fucking deep sea diving version.
You always get a deep sea diving one, yeah.
Motorcycle Spider-Man.
Motorcycle one. That's a jetpack Spider-Man. That's one.
Parachute Spider-Man. It's usually got like a web parachute.
Yeah. Crap. What about them ones though? The worst ones I've ever seen was it's Marvel heroes, but the robots.
The Transformers.
Oh yeah.
I had 3 of those. I've still got 2 of them. I think I've got a Wolverine one that turns into a wolf, and I've got an armored Spider-Man one which turns into like a fucking Spider-Man wrist launcher thing. It's really shit. I just wanted an armored Spider-Man figure. It was the only one I could find. But have you seen the... there's some funny ones. Have you seen the Hulk one?
Yeah, I think I have, yeah.
He turns into a dinosaur.
God, it's fucking awful, isn't it?
The Punisher one's the best one, though. They had to recall that one because they have the thing where it's the Punisher, but he turns into a gun. But if you configure it sort of halfway between part Punisher, part gun, it's like the shooting barrel bit comes out where his dick should be. So he's got like a missile launcher for a cock. So they had to recall it.
Yeah, they were awful, them ones.
Yeah.
I had one. I got one for my birthday, and it was a Spider-Man one. Do you know when the Raimi films were out?
Yeah.
And it came with a motorcycle, and it had like fucking projectiles and something flung out of it. It was crap. But the actual Spider-Man figure that came with it was the best figurine I ever had. It was a really good figure.
Yeah.
But yeah, the motorcycle, I think I never used it.
No, I had a Venom one, which was the same thing. It was like it had like a purple and black motorcycle with Venom written down the side of it. And he had like his tongue sort of sticking out, but not like in a menacing Venom sort of way. Like his teeth were closed and a little like lump was coming out where his tongue should be. Like he was blowing a raspberry to someone.
Fuck me.
Spider-Man films then. So worst to best, what would you say the worst one is?
The worst one's probably Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I absolutely agree.
It was fucking awful.
No matter what people say with Spider-Man 3, Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the shittest.
A lot worse. Yeah. I remember when I first watched it, luckily I didn't watch that one at cinemas, but when I first watched it, I turned it off halfway through.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch it again for another maybe 2 weeks until I found out Gwen Stacy dies at the end.
Yeah.
So I was like, I best watch it then. So I watched it. I just watched the end. I watched the end with it where Harry's got his fucking goblin disease.
Yeah, where he's got moss growing on him.
Yeah. Looks like he's been dead in a lake for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Looks fucking shit.
His hair goes like blonde and shit as well. He looks like Beavis from Beavis and Butthead.
Oh, it's really bad. But yeah, that's my worst one.
Yeah.
Second, probably Raimi Spider-Man 3.
Yep.
The next one's probably Amazing Spider-Man 1.
Yep.
Then Sam Raimi Spider-Man 1, and my favourite one's Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2 with Doc Ock.
Yeah.
I think that one's my favourite.
Mine's the same order, except I prefer Spider-Man 1 to Spider-Man 2 of the Sam Raimi films.
Right, okay, yeah. No, they are both good. It's just the tiebreaker between them two was I didn't like the Green Goblin's robot costume.
Yeah.
And I really liked the look of Doc Ock. Like, I think they did really well on it. I think that's probably one of the best looking villains in a Marvel film.
Yeah.
Minus Thanos as well. Thanos and Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2 Doc Ock are my two favourite looking villains.
Yeah. For me, the only reason I'm not a big fan of Spider-Man 2 is I don't really like Doc Ock as a character.
I like Doc Ock.
That's the only difference for me. To me, I prefer Green Goblin over Doc Ock.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. Green Goblin's costume was shit. I weren't really a big fan of Doc Ock's costume, though, to be fair. He looked too cool for what he were.
I know what you mean, yeah, because there was that time when he had, like, shades on or something, didn't he? He had, like, sunglasses on or some shit.
Well, it was shades and, like, a jacket, but no t-shirt or anything over that. So he's, like, bare-chested all the time. At least he weren't, like, fucking ripped or anything. That would have been really sort of weird. He's like a pudgy sort of scientist.
Yeah,
with
like
a six-pack.
Yeah.
So I like the fact they kept him sort of podgy, but to me, I don't know, he looked too cool for what a scientist
I know what
should
you
be.
mean. Yeah. I didn't like... The one part I didn't like about the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2 one, though, was Spider-Man losing his powers. I think they did it a bit too early for him to be considering whether he wants to be Spider-Man or not.
Yeah.
I think maybe after he's fought all these villains, he'd be like, is this really worth it?
Yeah.
But he only fought Green Goblin, and that was that. He had second thoughts.
Yeah, there's no real consequences. I think if like Mary Jane would have died in the first one or something, and then he's like, I can finally stop being Spider-Man, then there's consequences behind it, where he's like, he's got reason to quit.
Exactly.
But until then, it's just kind of like, he's doing a bit of a shit job being Spider-Man. The Chinese people are singing about him or something. And he's losing his power, so it's like, oh, that's good enough reason to finish.
Yeah, no, it was a bit crap.
Yeah.
But it's still my favourite film.
Yeah, I do like Spider-Man 2.
I really like the Alex Ross artwork right at the beginning,
Yeah.
just through the intro. I think that was really... I like that part.
Which do you prefer, the Alex Ross intro for Spider-Man 2 or the whatever you'd call it for Spider-Man 1?
What, where he's like puts his hand through the web and stuff like that?
Yeah, I like that bit.
I think I'd go for the Alex Ross artwork.
Yeah.
Because he did the artwork of like parts of the first film.
Yeah.
So like he did the famous Spider-Man Mary Jane kiss, and he did like Uncle Ben's funeral and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like instead of a sort of what happened last time type of thing, like to recap.
They did the same with Spider-Man 3, didn't they? But it's just photographs or something from that one.
Yeah, I think it's just photos, yeah.
And it's mainly all from Spider-Man 1 as well, because I just remember there's the one bit at the end where it's Doc Ock floating towards the sun thing.
Yeah.
That's in the opening credits, but then the rest of it's all mainly from Spider-Man 1, I think.
Yeah. One thing one of the things I didn't like about the Sam Raimi films was the Tobey Maguire Peter Parker monologue at the beginning of each film.
Yeah.
That's me, Spider-Man.
Like,
oh, fuck off, Tobey.
The thing with Tobey Maguire, I like Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man, but his voice doesn't carry for me. It's like he sounds like a bit like a frog on helium. Or like he's whispering all the time, but it's always really croaky. Like,
yeah, it is. It's like a croaking, sort of high-pitched stuff. Croak. I know exactly what you mean.
He's all like, you know who I am, Spider-Man.
Oh, that was brilliant.
I don't even know if he's going to pick it up on the mic, but that's how it is throughout the entire thing. There's no oomph in his voice.
No.
What did you think of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man?
No, I didn't like him at all. I thought the Spider-Man were good. He had more of the figure to be Spider-Man than Tobey Maguire, like the tall, sort of slender. But he looked too Hollywood.
Yeah.
He looked too...
It's the hair. It's just the hair. The hair's too...
He didn't look like a nerd.
Twilight-ish.
No. It didn't suit being Peter Peter Parker at all. So
No, he's too cool
I
for
wasn't
it.
a fan. Yeah, yeah, that's the word. He's just too cool to be a Peter Parker.
Can you imagine if the guy from Amazing Spider-Man 2 who plays Harry Osborn, if he was Peter Parker, and then Andrew Garfield played Harry Osborn instead? I think that'd work better.
That would have worked miles better.
It'd look more right.
Yeah.
Because he looks nerdier, the guy who plays Harry Osborn, than Andrew Garfield.
He does, yeah. I really want the next Harry Osborn to have the weird hair.
Yeah!
I don't know what to call it. What hairstyle was
I can't remember, but I remember I googled it a while ago and I sent you a picture of a guy who's actually got the Osborn haircut.
Yeah.
Who's who can find his name?
I remember looking at it in comics and I was like, I never understood it because in the comics it was just red.
With black stripes.
Yeah, black stripes, sorry, yeah. And then I was like, hey, what sort of hair is that? And you finally solved it for me.
You said before to me, it's like dreadlocks gone sideways or something.
It's like sideways dreadlocks or some shit. I don't know. That's what I used to think it was. I used to think he had sideways dreadlocks. But
I found the guy. I just need to. There's a picture of him online. It's ridiculous. It looks exactly like it does in the comics. It's like someone's run over his head with like a lawnmower, and it's just left streaks.
It looks like a mod lawn. The stripy lawns.
Oh, I can't find what he's called. I'll keep googling it. Whilst we're on it though, which costume did you like the most out of the film one? So you've got Tom Holland's to pick from, the red and black for Tobey Maguire, and the two ones that they used for Andrew Garfield.
Overall, I think I prefer the Amazing Spider-Man 2 costume.
Yeah. It's the only thing they got right.
Yeah, the only thing that Sony got right with that film was literally the costume. Because not even Electro looked good.
No, Electro looked shit.
Yeah, it was just blue with a black hoodie. I mean, that's crap.
I mean, the thing with Electro as well is they got a really good actor to play the character.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx was really good, yeah.
And then they fucked it up. He was like the Riddler from Batman Forever. He was too goofy.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there.
No, because I don't know, Electro's supposed to be really crazy.
Yeah.
But in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, they made him crazy, but in a different way, where he was like obsessed with Spider-Man at the beginning, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And then he was just a weirdo. He was just a bit stupid.
What did you think of the basketball sort of suit that he wears in Amazing Spider-Man 1?
I think it worked as a costume. Do you know what he'd make before his official one?
Yeah.
But I don't think it should have lasted the whole film.
No. See, I agree there. It's like they were clearly trying to sort of rebrand what he looked like, but to me, you just don't mess with, the original sort of Spider-Man costume.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
I think if he was to have done that in the first half of the film and then maybe fought an enemy, obviously the lizard, and it got destroyed, and be like, oh shit, I need to make a new costume now, and then make a better costume and gone with that for the rest of the film, I think that would have been better.
Yeah.
But instead he just sort of stuck with a shitty costume with the claw marks in his chest.
Yeah, and his yellow eyes.
Yeah. So that was my verdict on that one.
And then the other one would be the Tobey Maguire ones. What do you think of those costumes?
I wish that they didn't. I wish when they used the symbiote suit, I wish they did the proper one, because they put the proper spider on the Venom. That's probably the only good thing they did with Venom.
Yeah.
They put the good spider on Venom, and I wish they did that with the symbiote suit. Instead, they just did exactly the same.
Yeah, it's the same one.
Black suit, but just black. Yeah, a red and blue suit, but just black. So, but I think it was alright. I wasn't a fan of the proper triangle eyes.
No.
And like what you said before, I don't like the silvery webbing.
Yeah, I don't mind it being raised webbing, but it just looked white all the time. So
yeah.
I didn't like black webbing for it.
Yeah, if it were dark, it would have been a bit better. But yeah, I didn't mind that they were raised. But yeah, I think it would have looked a lot better if it was dark.
Did you ever see the black suit prototype one where it was the exact same as the
Yeah, it looked so much better. And why they didn't go with that one, I have no idea.
Do you know why they didn't go with that one?
No, I don't know.
Sam Raimi was saying it looked too much like an S&M sort of costume because it looked like a leather fetish sort of thing. So that's why they didn't go with it.
I think for stuff like that, if they're ever having doubts, I think they should post it online.
Yeah.
And do like a poll. It's like, all right, which costume would you prefer? This one, which would have been the one that they used, or this one, which is the one they should have used, but didn't.
Yeah.
And I bet everyone would have voted for.
Because then you can't possibly lose. You can't just risk it and be like, oh, we picked this one and no one likes it.
Yeah. Even if they don't do like the official costumes, but like maybe like concept artwork, which ones do the fans prefer?
Yeah, I mean they did the same with the Green Goblin. You must have seen the animatronic Green Goblin mask, which is so much better than the robot thing.
It was really good. Yeah, I don't know how it would have worked though. It probably would have had to be like a CGI face, possibly.
Yeah,
but it still would have worked. Like even because like with Venom, obviously Venom's face is CGI, so that's why. He never had his face on.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
It keeps pulling it back.
Yeah. So even if that was the case, you know.
Revealing Topher Grace's gopher face.
Fucking gopher face. Oh shit. But yeah, Willem Dafoe's how ace is he though at Green Goblin?
He is really
looks
good.
like a fucking goblin.
It's surprising as well because he's. What age were he when he did the first film?
I don't know. I don't know.
He's pretty old, isn't he? And to say he's running around in a goblin suit and he's doing all the shit on the glider.
Well, I think he was about 40, maybe something like that.
Yeah, you wouldn't think someone do that at his age. I've always thought a cool one. It's probably not a good idea actually, but I've always thought Al Pacino would make a good Norman Osborn.
Yeah.
But he'd make a terrible Green Goblin because he wouldn't get in the costume and shit like that.
No. He wouldn't do like the Goblin laugh or anything like that. I don't think either.
No, he'd just speak louder.
Yeah.
I found Norman Osborn's name, by the way. John W. Oxendine. He's an American politician. And it's just tagged under here, Norman Osborn cornrows.
Cornrows. That must be what the Americans call it.
Yeah. His weave.
Sadways weave.
But the best Spider-Man film is the one we've not even mentioned yet, which is the 1980s or 70s Nicholas Hammond Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
Chinese dragon one.
I was just about to say, yeah, we're just battles load of Chinese people. You
reminded me when you mentioned Spider-Man 2 because I was thinking of the train thing. And if you want to watch a Spider-Man film where there's an epic train scene, don't bother with Spider-Man 2. Watch the Dragon's Challenge, I think it's called.
Oh yeah, I think it is. Yeah, Dragon's Challenge.
Because there's a heart-pounding train bit where Spider-Man's ready to get run over by this train, and he sort of just gets out of the way, really sort of not unenthusiastically, but with plenty of time to spare. He manages to avoid this train running over him. And you sort of think to yourself, that's a bit anticlimactic, but then you remember the fact that this is a real train and a real fucking actor.
Yeah, there's no CGI, it's an actual fucking train coming at an actual actor.
Yeah, if he would have tripped or something, that'd be him dead.
Oh, that would have been pretty good though.
Spider-Man's last stand.
Yeah.
Because he's crippled after that.
Yeah. His legs don't work.
Wolverine puts him in a bunker.
He uses webs as like puppet strings. Just webs them to his feet and walks along.
Oh my god, I need to watch that one again.
We should. Yeah. We should watch it together.
We should do a commentary on all of the Spider-Man films. Force our way through the shit ones.
Yeah.
And watch that one again.
Yeah.
It's so good. All right. Lastly, before we get onto the film pictures themselves, because we haven't got Helen here, I thought what we'd do is we'd take on a guest pitch, and in this case, we're fortunate enough to have James Cameron, director of Avatar, Titanic, what else did he do? Aliens, Terminator 1 and 2, I think. Other films. I've taken some swipes from his Spider-Man pitch from the early 90s, I think it were.
Right.
I don't know if you've read any of this, but I don't think it's going to beat our ones because he clearly knows his Spider-Man stuff here.
Alright.
So, I think the film... I've not got all the info here. I've got the snippets that I need, but I'm pretty sure that he wanted Leonardo DiCaprio to play Peter Parker, which...
What?
I don't think it's a bad choice.
A young Leonardo, yeah.
Yeah, I think he was...
like a really young Leonardo. Right, okay.
I think this is Titanic era, I'm not sure.
Right, okay.
So he's still pretty young. I don't know who played the other characters. There was like an 80s actress or something lined up for Mary Jane. There might have been Arnold Schwarzenegger rumoured for Doc Ock, but he's sort of not the main villain in his storyline for this.
Right, okay.
But it sort of works. It's iffy.
It's like an Austrian Doc Ock.
Yeah. What was he in the? What was he in the cartoon? He's not Austrian.
I don't know. Is it?
Yeah, he's always like, "Yeah, Spider-Man." No, not like that. That's German.
It might have been German.
It might have been German.
That sounds German. It might have been.
Okay, so his pitch he had for the villains Sandman and Electro, but they weren't called Sandman and Electro.
Okay.
Well, Sandman's called Sandman on some of the pages, but for the rest of it, he's got a different name. Let me just find what they're called. The main villain's called Strand, who's basically Electro. He's got electricity powers.
Right.
And then there's a square-jawed, solid-looking guy with a powerful build named Boyd. And Boyd's like Sandman.
Right.
So why they didn't call them by their real names if they're going to do this, I don't know, but this is who they are. So Spider-Man's villains for the film are Boyd and Sandman.
Right, okay.
The film follows pretty much the same kind of plot as other Spider-Man films. He gets bitten by a spider, and then he becomes Spider-Man. So this is... I'm going to read an extract here. This is where he discovers his powers. So he's led in bed, and it says, something is causing the sheet to stick to him. He lifts it, revealing a sticky white mass completely covering him, gluing him to his bedding. It is some silky substance webbing him into the covers. He cries out in dismay, struggling to free himself from the gluey strands. Where did it come from?
It's a puberty Peter Parker.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's like the first time he's been stuck to his sheet.
There's clearly some kind of tones going on here.
Yeah.
I've not got this bit written down, but later on there's a bit where, when he is Spider-Man, he goes and looks in at Mary Jane's window, and she starts taking her clothes off and doing exercises. But it gets too much for him, so he can't watch or something like that. He feels like he's invading her privacy. But that's something that's in the film. And then,
oh yeah, it is. Shit. It's in the Raimi film, isn't it?
Yeah, it sort of is, but she's not getting
No,
dressed,
she's not
is
getting undressed, but he's like perving on through a window, and she is getting ready for school or something like that, though, isn't she?
Yeah, in fairness, she just shut her blinds, but in this case, it's like her window's out facing some woods or something, so no one's really watching her.
Right, okay, fair enough.
It's not like Peter Parker's like right next door where they could like pass milk to each other if they had to. Like, oh, can I borrow some sugar, Peter? Yeah, that's got a bag here. Oh, don't worry about the bag. I'll just get a spoon. I'll just spoon it out the window. That's how fucking close they are in that film.
Fucking hell.
This one, it's I think they're next door, but he has to go around to the other end of the house to watch her. It's weird.
Right, okay.
And there's storyboards for this as well. So then there's a bit later on where Spider-Man fights some guys in the alley. So imagine the bit where he fights them in the film and he's in the rain, he's got no mask on, and then they do the upside down kiss.
Yeah.
So imagine that scene, but instead of him doing an upside down kiss, Spider-Man takes Mary Jane up to, I think it's the Brooklyn Bridge, and she sort of like, she puts her head against, back up towards the bridge so she's not going to fall off. She feels like nervous.
Right.
And then, this is the script that follows from the film. So Spider-Man says to her, "Courtship among the spiders is highly ritualized. It varies from species to species. The male spider may circle the female or wave his front legs to signal that he's not prey." And then it says, Spider-Man moves in a hypnotic arc around her. He raises his he raises his hands in a dance-like movement and lowers them.
Oh my god.
So he's sort of like, I don't know what he's doing. He's doing like a Mexican wave sort of motion around Mary Jane at this point.
Whoa.
He then says, The female usually signals her willingness by an uncharacteristic passivity. MJ takes a deep breath, her lip trembles, her knees are weak, her eyes, though, are steady, gazing at the silhouette before her. She doesn't move or speak, he moves closer. In certain crab spiders, such as Zysticus, the male will attach strands of silk to the female, tying her limbs. Spider-Man moves his hand gracefully across her as she sees the sheerest silk webbing glinting in the moonlight. First one wrist, then the other, hypnotic movement in the moonlight. Her arms are bound to the wall, her breathing gets more rapid.
Wow. It's like she's about to get spider raped.
Yeah, this is like 50 Spiders of Grey or something.
50 Shades of Spiders.
Yeah. Since the female can break free at any time, the bonds have only symbolic significance. And then Mary Jane says the male must be very bold to take such liberties with the predatory female. It's fucking weird. He's
really weird.
He's dancing around her, tying her up and shit, and that's his attempt to seduce her. It's weird. I don't know what's going on here. The rest of the film sort of plays out as not the same as Sam Raimi's, but as a normal film in the 90s. He fights Boyd, Sandman, and then it comes to he's fighting Strand, who's basically Electro.
Yeah.
And Electro's kidnapped Mary Jane. And there's a bit here. I've not got it in the script for it, but essentially, Strand kisses Mary Jane, which causes her to die, and then friendly neighborhood Spider-Man comes back at him when he realizes that she's dead with, "I'll kill you, motherfucker. You hear? You dead, you sick bastard."
What? Did I actually say that?
Honestly, "I'll kill you, motherfucker. You hear me? You're dead, you sick bastard."
Oh.
And
wow.
That's James Cameron's Spider-Man pitch. Those are the key components that I've got for you there.
Come on, James. God, I'm glad that didn't. In a way, I kind of wanted it to.
Yeah.
In a way, I'm kind of glad. I'm glad that it didn't, but I also kind of want to see it at the same time.
That would have completely ruined Spider-Man's film career.
Yeah.
Can you imagine
definitely.
if we saw that version in Civil War? Fucking hell.
Spider-Man raping Mary Jane and then calling people motherfucker.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
Jesus Christ. And having wet dreams and perving on girls.
Yeah.
Alright, so that's James Cameron's pitch. I'm happy I've shared that with you now.
Yeah, I'm glad.
So film pitches time. What's your pitch? What have you got?
I've not got much of a pitch. I've got maybe half a film.
Right.
But I've got one actor. That's for Peter Parker and that. I don't know if you know him. He's called Logan Lerman.
Yeah. Oh, I'm tempted to change mine now. Logan Lerman was who I wanted for Civil War.
Yeah. Because when I heard there was a couple, weren't there? And Tom Holland was one, obviously, and then Logan Lerman was another.
There was
and I think
Ace Butterfield as well from The Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
That's the one, yeah. Well, Logan Lerman was the one I was sort of rooting for.
Yeah.
I wanted him to be Spidey. So he's my Spidey. The villain Scorpion, I've not got an actor for him though.
Right.
Anyway, so the film starts out with Spider-Man. He's already got the symbiote suit. So he's Black Spider-Man basically.
Yeah.
And the plot would be because of the symbiote suit, Peter gets tired of J. Jonah Jameson posting shit about him in newspapers. People starting to turn him a bit. He's just getting shit from people, and he blames it on Jonah. He pins it down to Jonah because he's got nothing but bad things to say about him in the press. So what he does one day is in the movie, maybe Jonah's at his desk, and then just this massive block of newspapers comes crashing through his window, and attached to it with webbing says, "From your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man." So Jonah's furious because he doesn't like Spider-Man anyway.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man's just thrown all these newspapers through his window. So furious, I've put here. I put furious. He looks at a page he has framed from the Daily Bugle on his wall. The headline reads, "Spider-Man destroys Oscorp." So Jonah goes to the next person who hates Spider-Man as much as Jonah does, which is Norman Osborn. Because Spider-Man's destroyed.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. So Osborn basically turns around and says, "Well, I've got some serum that will alter someone's DNA in a similar fashion to Spider-Man." and he hands him to a lizard DNA type of thing, or a scorpion.
Yeah.
So Jonah chooses scorpion. He manages to find someone who to mutate basically, and that's as far as I got. So I'm not sure how it would have ended. Maybe the symbiote. Peter might have realised the symbiote's making him, be a bit of a dick, so he sort of like peels it off.
Yeah.
And then that could maybe do like a plot for the next film. Could be like a Venom, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea of you've got the lizard thing as an option.
Yeah.
Because then that's obviously it's like an Easter egg thing, isn't it? So people watching it.
So it's like an Easter egg, and it also opens doors to maybe like if one of the future films could have the lizard in it because we've got the DNA there for it, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you could even have you could do it post credits where it's like you could have the lizard escapes or something like that, or Kurt Connors comes in and takes the lizard or something, anything like that.
Yeah.
You've got wiggle room there.
Yeah. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah.
Like, what was yours?
All right.
I bet yours is going to be better than mine, though, because you're good at this sort of shit.
Right, so mine's called Spider-Man Concrete Jungle.
No.
Like I said earlier, I've got Craven in it, so that's sort of where that's coming from.
Yeah, good as that.
Director for it, I've got Joss Whedon, because he's proved himself for things like the Avengers, and he's good at doing sort of teen sort of stuff like in Buffy and things like that. So I've got, for cast-wise, I've only got 3 cast members so far. Tom Holland as Spider-Man, but I'm tempted to nick your Logan Lerman there because I do prefer him.
Yeah, I prefer Logan Lerman.
And then for the villains, for Chameleon, I've got. I weren't sure what to do with Chameleon because obviously he's gonna be different people.
Yeah.
So I didn't know whether you cast an actor to play a bunch of people and like have him in disguises, or if you just dub his voice or do whatever. So I imagine it'd be a mix of like CGI and voice dubbing and shit like that. Right. I'd have Cillian Murphy, from from Batman Begins and those films. Who plays Scarecrow. He'd play Chameleon.
That's good.
Because he's got like a weird sort of lizard features.
Yeah, he does. I know exactly what
and then for Craven, I've got either Gerard Butler if he's up for it. I don't know if he'd do the what do you call it, the lion suit sort of thing.
Yeah, no, I don't think he would.
I mean, he did 300, which is similar, but
that's more like Spartan, though, isn't it? It's like gladiator type shit.
Yeah. Or we'd get someone like Manu Bennett from Arrow, but he's like worst case scenario there. We want Gerard Butler, and since it's a fantasy pitch, that's who we're having. We're having Gerard. African voice optional. I don't know what he'd be like for that. Right, so I've got it on my phone here, but I'm gonna read out. So it opens up. We're in a Russian gulag prison, and Hydra's there because it's MCU film. This is also going to be set a few years after Homecoming, so there's going to be a few films in between because otherwise it's too soon straight away.
Yeah.
So Hydra breaks the Chameleon free, and his mission is he has to steal plans for a super weapon, some kind of like toxic gas or something like that, and assassinate this world leader. So he's got like a target.
Yeah.
So whilst he attempts to steal this gas weapon thing, he's confronted with Spider-Man and he barely escapes being caught the first time. So he's like, right, I need to do this mission, can't really be doing with this. So Chameleon calls in his half-brother, Craven the Hunter. They don't need to mention it's his half-brother. This would be something like, that the fans would be like, oh, did you know this? Like, yeah, shut up. They don't need to mention it, he just knows a guy, pretty much.
Right, okay.
So he calls in Craven to eliminate Spider-Man, and he's like, it'll be a good hunt. He's like, oh yeah, I'm up for that then. Old Gerard. So Spider-Man's first encounter with Craven, he barely escapes alive, and it infuriates Craven that he's actually escaped because he's supposed to be this best hunter. So for his next encounter, he lays traps all around the city. So while Spider-Man's fighting Craven for the second time, Chameleon succeeds in stealing this weapon, and Craven knocks out Spider-Man. Right. So Chameleon's got his weapon, he's just waiting for the right time to use it now. In the mix of all this, there's going to be like relationship shit with Peter Parker. I've not wrote anything about Peter Parker down here, but Jameson will be back in it. Get J.K. Simmons again, because he was the best bits about the Sam Raimi ones.
It was the best part.
Absolutely. And also get Gwen Stacy and Mary Jane in. I don't know who would play them, because these are young actors at this point. But get them in, get them competing for Peter Parker. Because that's one of the interesting things with Mary Jane and Gwen Stacy. You've got Mary Jane, who's sort of like loose and free and sexy, and Gwen Stacy's like the girlfriend type. She's quiet and she's kind and caring. So get them thinking with that. That's how you get all the girls going.
Right. Fair enough.
So Craven's knocked out Spider-Man and he wakes up and he's in an abandoned prison, but there's animals crawling all over the place. And what Craven's done is he's turned this prison into like not a nature reserve, like a hunting ground sort of thing, like a safari place.
Yeah.
So what he's done is he's obviously kidnapped things like crocodiles and lions and shit, and he's put them in this prison. So that's like two things. It's a jungle and it's a prison, so it's extra cool.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man has to then try and avoid being hunted by Craven, who's like saying shit over the PA system and shit like that, and also avoiding things like lions and bears and whatever. And like obviously bear traps and stuff. And eventually it makes it into the main hall of this prison, and there's like electrified wire and spikes and shit like that. So Craven also enters the hall. This is where you think there's going to be like this big sort of showdown between Craven and Spider-Man. But then Craven's like, Spider-Man, you've made it into the main room. This is where my greatest capture of hunting or whatever, I keep it here. This is what he says. So his best capture from his hunts is in this main hall. And then from sort of like the darkness, you see the lizard comes out.
Nice.
And it'd all be CGI and stuff like that. So then Spider-Man, Craven, and the lizard have to have this like battle royale. So
that sounds really good.
Obviously, it's not like Spider-Man against both a team of Craven and the lizard, because the lizard's just like a wild card. He's just he's slashing both of them.
Yeah.
So Craven's also fighting the lizard alongside him. So that'd be a pretty cool battle, I think. Eventually, the lizard escapes, maybe into like a sewer pipe or something like that. And Spider-Man and Craven are both like deadly wounded, and they manage to make it outside into the prison yard, where Craven's dug a grave and put like a Spider-Man tombstone there. So we're going like Craven's Last Hunt, that sort of comic sort of here. Yeah. That's what the throwback is to. Craven shoots Spider-Man in like the shoulder and starts burying him alive. But then at the last minute, Spider-Man breaks out, webs him, and sort of reverses it. So now Craven's in the grave, and Spider-Man's got to get to like Washington or something before the break of dawn to stop Chameleon from releasing this gas, because Craven's somehow given the plot away whilst he's fighting him.
Right. Okay.
Typical like comic book villain style.
Yeah.
So he makes the conference just in time, but he can't find the Chameleon anywhere because obviously he's disguised. But then in the crowd, he spots Peter Parker there, and he's like, "Wait a minute, I'm Peter Parker. That can't be me, because I'm me." So he swings in just as Peter Parker's ready to throw this like toxic gas to kill this senator or whatever.
Right.
Stops the gas being thrown, and then the Chameleon starts to like escape in a helicopter or something like that. So Spider-Man just gets him, chases him, webs him, brings him to justice. And that's pretty much the film. There's obviously
that sounds really good.
There's more shit in between, but that's the general plot.
Yeah, it's a lot better than mine. It's a lot better put together than mine as well.
I'm surprised you got the lizard in your one, because when you said that, I thought, I've got the lizard in mine.
No, it wasn't in mine. It was just like sort of like a little cameo thing I wanted to add in there.
Yeah, mine would be like one of these big sort of surprise reveal things. I was thinking what animal-related villain I could stick in, but it wouldn't make sense to put like the Rhino or someone like that in, because that's a dude. The lizard at least is a like part animal.
Yeah, I know it got. Yeah, no, it was really good actually.
Cheers. And yeah, obviously, like I said, there'd be relationship stuff in between, so I don't know how long it'd run for, because this seems rather long, but there'd need to be slow points in there as well.
No, it was really good, was that? Well done.
Cheers.
You're welcome.
So that pretty much covers everything Spider-Man. We'll probably end up covering it more another time, probably next time Helen's off again, because we've talked for a good while on this. I thought it'd be a quick episode.
Yeah, I think it's about an hour and a half.
Yeah, it'll get cut down, but Yeah, we'll do another sort of Spider-Man thing at some point. Maybe just some commentaries on the films or something, or
Yeah, alright.
anything like that. I don't know what we'll be doing next week, but we'll probably think of something, whether it's a small pitch or something. Coming up with these pitches, it's a lot of prep time goes into it.
Yeah. And Helen will be back next week.
Yeah, Helen should be back next week, I think. Back from Berlin. So we'll probably have some stories of what she's been up to.
Yeah, I'm hoping to have some cracking stories from Helen.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's why we can either get away with a small pitch or no pitch at all for next week.
Right.
But either way, there'll be one coming soon. Just got to plug some stuff to finish off with. You can email the show at, I think it's pitchandmoanpod@gmail.com. Let me double check that, even though I should have it ready.
It sounds right to me.
pitchandmoanpod@gmail.com, yeah. Pitch and Moan on Facebook. You can find us just by looking for it. Now, before we finally finish, last week when we recorded, I made a promise on how to finish the show.
Right, okay.
We didn't want to insult the listeners on the first episode, but we did anyway.
Yeah.
And I said the reckoning would come, and I managed to remember it, that we're going to finish off on a bitter note. So
Right, okay.
I've built it up too much now, so I don't like it. Fuck off doesn't give it justice now.
No.
No.
I don't know, something like, have a shit week.
Hey, have a shit week. I hope you drop your
downer.
crisps in a puddle.
Yeah. I hope you dip your biscuit in a brown and it fucking drops in.
Yeah, and you've got to spoon it out, but it splits into
soggy
two.
biscuits. Yeah. Ugh. Yeah.
I think that'll do it.
Be sad.
Be sad and drop your biscuit in a brew.
Nice one.
Alright, nice one.
Alright.
Bye.
Bye.
We need a better ending.